Hey guys, Scott here, Pine Barren Craftsman. I wanted to talk a little bit about, my mind's going today. Feeling better, worked out, right? All these thoughts come flushing in. My head's my head's spinning at the moment. And to me that's a good thing for my personality. That's where I feel like I'm most productive. I feel like I'm most positive, most clear. So I'm back on track. Um, the topic that comes to mind today, there was a couple. But the one that's standing out the most is just got sparked from a video I watched. Um, it was Chester from Lincoln Park. I think he was singing Adele's song. He was doing it a cappella, just by himself, with a little bit of background music, tapping on the strings. But he was basically holding those notes. Phenomenal singer. Passed away, in case you guys don't know, 2016. Suicide by hanging, right? That's what they said, and that's what I'm going with. That's what I read online. Could be wrong. There might be more to the story. But the point of the conversation is I went into the reason why he died and some of the people that did interviews about him after, I think bandmates. They said he was struggling with feeling, I think maybe an album that he let out. I forgot the name of it off the top of my head. I'm not pretending to be a fan. I'm not pretending to be a know-it-all. I never do that on this channel. But there was an album that maybe he wasn't feeling like was well accepted by all of his fans. Maybe it was like 10% or 5% of people weren't into it, and it really bothered him. But what highlighted this even more, and why I kind of am bringing it out now, is because with anything, I always bring stuff that's happening in life around me, and I pull it in and I think about it more about how it applies to who I am, how I feel about it. And these are all my opinions. I hold them inside. I don't go around spreading them around until now with this channel. And it's still more just to reach out and get this feedback from people to see like, hey, do you think like this too? So what struck me was he was kind of down on his abilities, right? Sounds like. And I'm bringing this now into myself. Whenever I've received a compliment, and this is what I'm thinking, maybe he was going through his mind too, it was always like, keep yourself humble. Don't allow yourself to accept the criticism. Maybe he couldn't accept it. Maybe it's beyond this. This is for me. The way I've pulled things out of my life, being raised Catholic and going into Christian books, and then going through with how I feel scientifically and how things work in society, how I feel about others in society, how they make me feel. With their masculinity or maybe their personality or maybe being really cutthroat, with a money deal, or being really, backstabbing, going behind or going back on your word. All these things kind of laid out in my life, and they make me who I am now. What am I going to be? So the point of this whole thing is the way I felt, right? Society was raising me by me pulling these things, was that you got to keep yourself humble. Being proud is a bad thing. Ego, right? We're not going to go into Freud, and we're not going to go into Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the things that we do for ourselves in life to be stable. What I'm saying is, I always felt guilty about being elevated, right? Hey, you're doing a great job, good job, pat on the back, and you're like, yeah, I could do better, right? Or, hey, man, you look really good. What do you do? I very rarely get a compliment to my face. After the fact, I get compliments. Hey, man, that car you had was really cool, but never when you're driving it at the moment. People aren't really jumping out of their skin to tell you how cool your car is. There's a proud, there's a jealousy, but this is not what I'm saying. Because I've always been the first person to compliment people on their stuff, no matter what it is, because I'm telling you what's in my heart, always. I feel like it's the only way that I can live and sleep at night. So if I see someone got a new truck, I love your truck, man. That's a great truck. But at the same time, I kind of don't like wearing a muscle shirt. Like, this is a tight shirt, right? I'm not trying to show off, right? But if I work out and you see guys wearing a muscle shirt and they're trying to be jacked up, even bigger than they look with a tight shirt, or they get like the nicest chrome rims with the nicest clean truck or the top of the line package. Like, it's always been hard for me to show that. Like, okay, if I have something nice, I always want to diminish it because I feel bad. Even though we worked hard for it. This is before I was a homeschool dad. So like the truck we have now is a Duramax diesel Denali package. It's like top of the line. And I bought it because my wife really deserved something nice to drive in, and we got to the point where we're finally gonna have a nice vehicle, and I wanted to get the best thing for her. But at the same time, it takes a little bit of like, yeah, I'm driving a Denali, man. That's not in my head. I actually hate the fact that it's a Denali. I hate the fact that people look at it like that. It's weird. I didn't buy it to show off. Do you understand? I bought it because it had all the creature comforts and we wanted to get something nice for ourselves, but it was never a thought how it was going to be perceived. And where we live, it's like trucks get trashed up here. It's kind of stupid to have a dressed up, shiny chrome truck and you're mud swamping it and your salt's all over it. So all these things go through my head all the time, and I've always tried to perceive others as if they're being humble, if they're being proud, and judging them accordingly. And judgment is harsh, right? Pride was supposedly one of the seven deadly sins, right? Pride. So I've always been instilled with that as being how things are. And if you're proud about anything, like a guitar riff, I never played guitar live. I never showed off with a guitar solo like I do on the channel now. It's because I'm trying to allow myself to be okay with myself. Not that I'm afraid of judgment, but rather I don't want to be perceived as some guy that thinks he's doing something amazing, like these weight bench workouts. I'm putting on weight that I think is average for a guy my size and my background. So I'm not doing it to say, look what I can do. If I wanted to, I could put another 5 pounds on there and say, look, I could do more. I don't care about that, but it can be perceived, and I'm sure it is, by even people from my past. Like, why is he showing off these weights workouts? Like, what is this? Never thinking that maybe I'm trying to inspire somebody to do the same thing. And maybe that's me overthinking that point of it. So back to like Chester, right? Not accepting the compliments well, right? Or having a lower opinion of himself. I always thought if you keep yourself humble, it's a way of appreciating what you have, right? And the second you start to boast and show off, to me, it's like, it's going to be lost. Whether it's karma, or maybe God spites you, right? This backgrounds of being raised in different communities, that like God will spite you if you show this off. Maybe, maybe that's one of the things. This is from my upbringing. It wasn't instilled in my parents, but it was instilled in some of the books and the way that it was delivered, maybe in the churches I went to. And this is where like it gets all mixed up into the man of who I am, right? Where did I come from? Where am I from with my ego, right? So ego is low. But at the same time, if you challenge something that I'm doing, right? My workmanship. Remember one guy said his bass line sucks. Let's hear that bass line by itself. And I'm playing the bass and I'm trying my best. And it wasn't the best. But I got really aggravated, not because it was a bad bass line or I was embarrassed, but because he called me out in a way that was wrong and rude, and I wouldn't do that. It goes back to the other videos about talking with people that you work with and how they go out of their way to make you look bad, to try to elevate themselves in a job. Hate that. But I always felt like it's my duty as a person to be humble. The meek shall inherit the earth. The humble, give it up to a higher power, whatever you believe. Now, look at a computer program, right? Look at AI. Do you think the programmers of AI put down, hey, be nice, be humble? No. It's going to be as strong as it can be, right? All the way. And that's kind of the way that society is leading now. We got to be strong people all the way. You can't be humble now. People will step on you, right? Criminals can take advantage of you. You let your guard down for 1 minute. You're on the wrong street at the wrong time, or maybe you're not physically fit, or maybe you're not mentally able to do a job, like mechanically inclined. You got to you have these skills to protect yourself now. Nobody's up here is coming to help change my tire if I'm broke down. Odds are I'm on a desolate road, and it might be hours before somebody sees me, especially in inclement weather. So like being stronger, having that pride, And then it comes to like the nature of the world. Like, are you going to be able to protect, a group of people that are around you if they're going to get hurt? Are you going to react? There was a video of a guy in a plane that was going off, and he had a little plastic knife in his hand that he created, and he was going to storm and start stabbing people, and he did. And the question comes like, how much are you going to take of that? Well, I don't want to do anything. Maybe I'll get in trouble if I try to stop him. Maybe it's not so bad. Maybe he'll stop. Those are all things that like we get mixed up with in society that will put you on your heels. So are you going to be an alpha male or alpha female or head of the pack? Are you going to be on your toes in all scenarios in society? Are you going to jump down somebody's throat when they say a fact that's off slightly? Joe Rogan had, who's that guy? One of these speakers, the Hasidic Orthodox Jewish guy, I think he is, Ben Shapiro. He made a mistake. He said, I don't believe in trying to take Testament, like the Old Testament, and make it make sense in today's mentality. Like, why did the sea part? Right? Why did Moses part the Red Sea? And he said, well, maybe there was prevailing winds or something like that could have logically explained away the scripture. But there was also a point where Joe Rogan had said something about pigs having a lot of different bacterial and stuff that's in the meat, and if you don't cook it correctly, it could hurt people. So maybe that's why they said don't eat pork, not because it was unclean, but because it was unclean literally from these types of sicknesses that you can get without cooking it correctly. So on the one hand, he made a mistake, Ben Shapiro, and said, I don't believe in that. But the other said he did. So he contradicted himself. He's human. We make mistakes. I've probably contradicted myself in other videos because I'm not superhero. I'm not perfect. And we have to perform on this platform that we're in. I'm self-electing myself to be in front of the public, 125 people now, that if I make a mistake or if I look like I'm a hypocrite or contradict myself, I lose all my interested subscribers. And that's horrible because people make mistakes. People say mistakes. They make misspeaking, especially when I'm doing this live in one take. Not live, but it's pre-recorded, but it's one take. So I don't leave myself room for mistakes to edit it out. So that's the story of it all. I know it goes from where it started with the guy from Lincoln Park, Chester, who was a talented musician and he killed himself. And, it leads to psychological issues, right? But what are they? And from what they were saying, maybe there was some kind of substance abuse. I don't know. But depression, or mixed with a person that's already trying to keep himself in a humble position, feeling like it's not right to take credit for things or not boast, right? Brag. I hated people that bragged growing up. I remember I never want to be someone that's bragged. Hey, look at my house. Look at my car. Look at my haircut. Look at my wife. Why are you bragging? You're just setting up enemies. So I hated that growing up. Braggadocious. People that walk around with fur coats on and it's like 60 degrees out. They just want to take their fur coat off. I thought they were showing off. But then I can be perceived in that way. Right now, I'm doing lifting weights. I'm showing off. Playing guitar riffs. I'm showing off, right? I have a truck that I'm talking about and I'm bragging about it. Big deal. The point is that I don't ever want to be perceived as that. And I don't like people that are perceived like that. So how do I curtail that? Should I keep myself humble? Should I, wear a big heavy jacket if I get a better physique? Do I go out on the beach and just take everything off and go complete Speedo and just, get immersed in whatever I think I am and try to show it off, make enemies, right? Who wants to see that? This guy's weird. He's up here in a lake in Maine and he's got his Speedo on, man. He's showing off his chicken legs. So this is kind of a window into what I'm thinking about. Wonder what you're thinking about. Wondering if you're somebody that tries to stay humble a lot. Is it a sin to be enveloped in pride? Is it a sin to allow yourself to give yourself that pat on the back and say, yeah, I'm doing good? Is that all worldly things, right? You could be a really invested religious person in the Quran or in Buddhism or whatever, Hinduism, and get into, the next levels. And you go around telling everybody like, I'm blessed more than you, or I'm more educated, or I'm more enlightened. It seems to me that people that are more enlightened become more humble. So is that the essence of this? Or am I looked at as being a weak person that can't take a positive criticism, right? Hey, Scott, you'd be really good at talking to people. You should put your name out there and go talk to people in auditoriums. Nah, I can't do that. I don't think anybody would come, and I don't think I'd be able to handle people heckling me, right? Questioning me, right? Or should I say, yeah, man, I could do this. Get yourself all pumped up because you want to get to that next threshold and be that strong mountain climber that's going to get to the top of the mountain. What is the purpose? This is a long one. Appreciate you watching if you've been this long. Help me unravel this. Make some comments. What do you think about? Should you walk around with a muscle shirt on, and if you feel that way? I'm talking from a guy's point of view. Girls are the same. Like, if girls are in a nice position where they want to show off their body, should they go out and do whatever girls do to show off? I would say it'd be, makeup and revealing clothing is a way that girls might show off. And also the educated way that they can show off is, walk and talk proud and have their accolades on their sleeve and tell them how many books they sold or what doctorates they have. Like, there's two different ways, men and female. Like, there's physical and there's the mental. I could walk around with a briefcase, nothing in it, just some graham crackers, and pretend like I'm important. The ego. It comes with management, right? It comes with bosses. I have a job that I have to rectify, that I'm in this position for, and I have to make sure I inflict the pressure on the people that I need to maintain, because I have an ability to be a leader. So I need to be in this position. So even though I'm managing, you also have to maintain that position by some sort of strength, right? You are the top of the position that you want to be in. Anyway, let me know what you think. This is a mess. This is a messy one, but it's true. It's honest. Maybe I'll step up a little bit and be a little bit more positive about things I can do and show off more. Does that generate more interest and more likes in my channel? I don't care. The odds are is that I'm trying to show you guys myself to help stimulate my development, right? Where do I align with the rest? You let me know. Like, share, subscribe, comment on this one. I think you should. If you have a thought, interest, you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.